Hey everyone, all right, it's Tuesday. It's also Thanksgiving week, so all my everyone who's watching this in the US, happy Thanksgiving. But we also had Raw last night leading into the last SmackDown, the go home SmackDown before Survivor Series on Saturday. And boy, did we hit some interesting things. Did we have some stuff that I'm like, don't really need it for this to happen here, but let's talk about overall thoughts about Raw from this weekend. From last night, I mean. All right. First of all, this is one of the first times I felt like the show could have been for 3 hours again. I'm a grandma and I like it that ends at 10 right now, but towards the end, I felt like that last match was so like squeezed into this tiny spot. I feel like they could have used a little bit more time to let it breathe. But that's just an overall, like, are we going back to 3? Are we not? What's going on there? I haven't really been paying attention. So if you know, comment below and tell me so I know. But we opened up the night with a promo with Gunther, and then we had Damian Priest come out. I really like this Damian Priest. I feel like he seems more comfortable in his skin. It's interesting though, because sometimes I feel like what he's saying is like what a heel would say, but he's the face in this. But I want him to be a face. I love Damian. So still do not know if he's going to win the title or not at Survivor Series, which I feel like the type of build-up they did here would lead me to kind of believe maybe he will. Maybe like Gunther's going to go on this whole angle of rediscovering why he does this and da-da-da-da. He spirals down from losing to Damian, but I'm not sure. But I'm curious to see what happens. I'm betting that Gunther retains, even though they gotta throw my boy a bone. Damian needs a bone already and give him a title, give him something. The tornado match was okay. I don't love tornado matches. It was fine. I still don't totally understand this feud. Of course, you had the thing where they lost, fine. Tag team titles match, I was a little bummed the War Raiders didn't win. I was kind of wanting them to win that one. But with that said, of course, Judgment Day cheats again to win. We knew that was going to happen. And I'm kind of like, okay, what's next in this whole thing? So I'm like, I want to know what's next for the War Raiders because I'm really loving them. I really love this new re-envisioning of them as a tag team. And even my husband's like, he's like, big boy can move. He's like, they are moving. So we'll see what happens there. Other matches on that card, and I'll talk about some of the more like long-term angles that were happening during the show. I kind of love the tag match with Alpha Academy. I thought it was really cute. I feel like it makes sense that they got that one. I feel like it embarrasses the other team. I feel like it was really cute, and I just loved his hour so much. I do also feel like Alpha Academy's kind of been like lost in the mix of like what's going on right now. So curious to see where they might go next, what their plan is, because I feel like they're kind of just using them in spots right now and not really having a solid storyline for them. Speaking about people who just pop up out of nowhere, let's talk about R-Truth because we had an R-Truth sighting. Interesting enough, my husband the other day was like, we haven't seen R-Truth in a while. And lo and behold, there he was doing a little Judgment Day thing, which I found really, really funny. I thought it was cute. I thought it was hysterical. I just love R-Truth and him randomly popping in. I mean, like he could just be anywhere. That's the coolest part of him to me is he could just show up anywhere and it would make sense somehow because it's him, right? We also had the backstage angle with Final Testament with my Scarlett getting beat up by Nikki Cross. I'm not loving the Miz in this. Like, Miz as a bad guy, sure. I think he makes a great heel. Miz in this, like, weird group, and he's not the leader. But what's going on? I'm not in love with that. And he's kind of like Dominic in a little way, like slimy and, like, not really strong. And I don't know. I'm not loving the Miz in this role. I love him as a heel, though. So I'll hold on and see what happens next. But Scarlett gets beat up. I liked how they did the mirror and I liked that angle a lot too. I thought that was really, really cool. With that said, though, they kind of just threw that in there. That's one of the things I feel like, oh, if you had more time, you could pull that through the whole show and made it a little bit more interesting. You know what I mean? But we only had the 2 hours. And with the 2 hours, of course, we had the question about who is going to be the women's next, who's joining the War Games match. Now, I'm not surprised. And one thing I will say in the backstage segment that they did with Bianca, Naomi, Rhea, and Io Sky, sorry, she was there too, was one, I totally get why, like, a couple of them did not want Bayley. I mean, totally makes sense. Naomi was the one who brought Bayley up. I did love Rhea Ripley's mask for this segment. I'm not loving it was just a little weird. And I know she wore a black one on SmackDown, but I feel like this one was different. And it was very distracting. It didn't add to it to me. It was very distracting to the whole thing. So yeah, that's a very minor thing, and I love me some Rhea Ripley. You all know I love Rhea Ripley. So for me to I don't understand this choice for this. Yeah, I just don't. Not surprised it ended up being Bayley. Totally makes sense to me that it was Bayley because it just worked perfectly. And it gave a really solid reason why Bianca was able to win that match. And also Bianca having to be like, oh, Bayley just helped me, as much as she has tried to keep her rivalry with Bayley solid. The tension between her and Rhea was interesting. I'm more and more thinking they are turning Bianca Belair heel. That is my prediction in all this. Speaking of other people turning heel, we have to, of course, talk about New Day, because we had that big moment where they finally had the fight. And this is why I didn't talk about this part of the match earlier, because, again, I feel like they used Alpha Academy for a catalyst to make this other thing happen, but Alpha Academy doesn't have its own thing going on. Are you understanding me? But yeah, so we had what's looking like the breakup of the New Day. Curious what will happen next week. I'm assuming Big E is coming also for this reunion that's going to, we all know, turn into a cluster. But yeah, it was a good fight. I liked how they follow, again, another great camera angle where they follow them all the way through to where they were fighting. Love that. There was a sound issue earlier in the time when they were backstage before they came out, which is a little but overall, I liked the whole way they built that around. I just wish they weren't using Alpha Academy as basically jobbers in that situation. I know people don't like the term jobbers, but you look at that, what were they? Okay. So those are kind of my big points. Now let's take a minute and talk about the Women's Intercontinental Belt. One, thought for sure, knew they were announcing it because they've already announced the U.S. Championship over on SmackDown. Thought we were going to get Trish Stratus as part of it. Still think she might make an appearance because she hinted at those videos. And there's another video she posted a while ago. The guy hinted never thought I would do this, but might as well. So I think that is her coming back to add some legacy to that belt, right? You're going to take a legend and help build the importance of that belt right away. I'm not a huge fan of these secondary belts for the women. I don't know why. No, I want a really strong women's division. I love women's wrestling. I was a fan forever. I just am want to make sure it doesn't just become a fight for a belt. It becomes storylines built around. But I do trust creative, so I'm going to hope they use it for that. So that was my only other thing. How do you feel about that belt? How do you feel about how they're building up the War Games match? I like the little backstage things that happened with, Heat and, the Usos and Sammy. Excited about that. Liked even the Solo Sikoa, pre-recorded thing. All was good. Do not think Jimmy is winning against Jacob Fatu on Friday. That's my other prediction. But I will do predictions during my SmackDown review video. See you Friday. Happy Thanksgiving for everyone who celebrates it. I'll talk to you soon. Leave your comments. Let's talk more in the comments below. Bye.